little later, and you can avoid. And later on, very recently, 2011 or 12, the also publication came that the intervertebral artery is not the only culprit. They are the deep-sitting arteries on the transverse process, which can cause the convulsion. Now the question is, we have understood this fact. But if you go for the protocols, still there is a division. One protocol can suggest you this lateral approach, and the another one vehemently opposed and will be talking in favor of the standard, which we already learned, the conventional technique. So where the question of the safety comes. Is it an ego war? Dr. Samir, what do you say? There are many other examples like transforaminal, use the Campion's approach, use the intrapedicular should not be used. But this is happening.
Yes, I mean, my understanding of these situations is that one should know his or her limitations. That is the most important thing. Okay? Let's say, for example, I know my limitation because I don't do any neck procedures. Okay? I will not do a neck procedure at all. Why? Because there are too many complications from the neck. Because there are too many vessels and blood vessels which are going from the chest into the head. As what you have suggested, that as soon as you give, let's say, for example, medial branch block you do in the cervical neck, or epidural, cervical epidural, which is, I have seen people who have developed quadriplegia after a cervical epidural. Okay? And then you say, should I be in that position? And if you get one patient, that patient sticks with you until you retire. And I don't want, I'm reasonably young. I need to go another 20 years of my life. I don't want to have somebody sticking with me for 20 years to remind me of my mistake. Okay? So one needs to understand his or her limitation. The second aspect of reducing a complication is to use a non-particulate steroid. That means use of dexamethasone instead of using triamcinolone or depomedrol. That is one of the other aspects of it. The last bit of it, that... Sorry?
Particulate-free triamcinolone is available.
Yeah. Tricot. Orocort, tricot.
What is that?
Yeah, the triamcinolone is local manufacturing.
So, I mean, that is one of the most important things. For us, if we look at complications from us...
Yeah. Okay. Proceed. I think, but what you said very aptly, if you do not know that particular subject, if you are not master yourself that subject, don't make it a ego issue. Better you avoid. First, you learn that and then try. Possibly that is one way you can reduce the complication.
I think
before Dr. Sridhar, I am going to ask you one question. Because when the patient comes for any pain procedure, he is very afraid, anxious, worried. And then often we are using the sedation. And we all know that sedation can land up into the problem. So what is the current status? Sridhar, is there any relation or the correlation between the sedation, level of sedation and the complication outcome?
There is enough evidence to suggest that patients should remain just mildly sedated and usually communicating in order to avoid any kind of complications. There is a paper which was published as just about 2011-2012 by Ratmel et al., who evaluated the complications in cervical procedures, transforaminals and all facet injections and medial branch blocks and all that. And they found that they evaluated the ASA closed claims basically, and they found that patients of cervical procedures who had claims, more than 67% of patients had undergone procedures under deep sedation. And only 19% of patients who had claim settlements did not have any sedation. So as the paper definitely pointed out to the fact that if a deep sedation is given, a patient remains uncommunicative and you're not able to talk to the patient while you're doing the procedure,
so
definitely the complication rate is much, much higher as compared to when you're communicating with your patient.
Very nice. Yeah, madam, you want to say?
One observation is, I have worked in a government hospital and now I'm in the private. The government hospital patient will understand. He's reasonable. I mean, I will do this to you. Just don't turn your head, don't wriggle around them. But the sophisticated patient, for the life of you, they will not listen. So you have to Not deep sedation.
So suggest them very sophisticatedly, madam, that
I
differ here.
okay.
I definitely
No, no, no.
differ.
Yeah,
I
no.
definitely differ.
Oh, Dr.
Definitely.
Raj, she must have gone like
But even then, I would
more fiery afternoons.
I hate
I agree. I come to another point.
No,
More important.
I just want to make a point here. I work in a hospital which has sophisticated patients, but the hospital is like a government hospital. So we have huge number of patients, lots of people not paying at all. So the expectations from the doctor and the physician is extremely high, wanting 100% relief and 100%, and you hit the target all the time and do not do procedure for more than 15 minutes, half an hour, they'll start wiggling, they'll start. But I have often found in my practice, and which is not very long, so I won't be able to say so much. But dealing with this kind of patients, I do not do a procedure till the patient asks for it. I always
Yeah,
say,
this is
till
one
they
thing.
come,
And it
they
is
come and
individual
tell
variation.
me,
I agree
okay,
with you.
please do
But-
more procedure.
Yeah, Dr. Sindhya, time is very short, your point is very much taken up. The problem, what is again, when you do whatever level of sedation, whether you face complication or not complication, mention it also. Because we have different skills, which are authentic skills, verified skills, you better use it. My question to Dr. Samir, do you think it is necessary to report complication?
absolutely.
Absolutely, there is no doubt about that.
Why you say so?
But as I've already mentioned in my opening statement, that because I'm working in the United Kingdom, for us it is absolutely important. If we don't do that, for us it is criminally negligent and we might be prosecuted.
Other than that legal aspect, can you extend a little bit?
I mean, we can be prosecuted, how far can I extend that?
No. It's a legal
Put
aspect.
put into jail.
Take the another softer side.
Okay.
We have grown
No.
through the learning experiences from others.
Yeah, yes.
If you do not report it, how somebody will come to know that this is a problem can happen with you also?
The NHS.
Yes.
He reports to the NHS. Where do I report?
Exactly.
You write it on the paper.
Madam,
That's not reported.
yeah.
No,
Now,
definitely.
there are-
Report it to somebody or MCR.
you
No,
see,
no,
madam,
definitely. If I
your
report on a
publication,
paper-
your experiences, those so far not required, but will be required very soon. We are in the formative years of now understanding little bit of the legality, understanding little bit of the necessity of the proceedings and different things. So the time will come when your experiences, your publications will be well counted, checked, and then it will take a definitive shape.
Can I just make a small point here?
आप बैल मुझे मार वाला किस्सा.
So far, madam,
Can I just make a small point here?
Yeah.
America and the UK and all have a definite system of reporting which is then reviewed by the people, and the different modalities have been given as to whether it's permanent damage or whatever. And we as intervention physicians or pain physicians in our country take a small step of doing it at our own workplace. Now I'm doing a procedure, I do a blood vessel, I hit a blood vessel today, I just write it down for my sake. Okay, I prepare a normal Excel sheet and I say, okay, patient number A, B, C, like this, and this is what I happened during the procedure.
And I
And
can
at
say,
the end
yeah.
of it, maybe I have practiced 5 years or 10 years. I will have my own data, which probably then I can go and publish.
Yeah,
If I exactly.
Yeah, Dr.
need to,
Sitaram,
that's
yeah,
very, very
please.
important.
Yes.
Exactly, this can be the clinical evidence, and ultimately when we present about 100 of 200 of cases, it becomes a evidence.
We are toddler
We have
now,
to learn this way.
going to be adolescent and adult soon. For that step, whatever we can do little bit, contribute little bit, rather putting up somewhere, writing, publicizing, that will help. Another 2-3 minutes to go, and I think we will finish it off. So I think we have discussed, we have agreed upon that the complications are increasing. We have agreed upon that the complications are underreported. We have understood by different presenters that the complications could be minor, but maybe life-threatening. It is better, whatever experiences we have, complications we are facing, to publish them, to make some record, depending upon the local available resources and the permissible limits, and accept that the complications are happening and try to adopt the techniques which capture the different complications, the rate of complications, and also suggest us that how to report them. We do not know what to report, what not to report. So that awareness, learning, system improvement, everything is required. Of course, it looks a very far-fetched dream, very far-sighted dream, but dreams always come true at some time. So with that, I thank you all. Thank you.
No comment.
Yeah, please, madam.
Don't ignore the complication.
Yes.
Face it. You had a complication like I have two complications in my life. One small little bit of local analgesic that I added with the steroid. It is severe convulsion. I admitted the patient in the nursing home. She was there for 5 days. I consulted a neurophysician and managed the patient, paid from my pocket for the entire treatment, and even she went home happy.
That definitely would save you from a litigation too.
Yeah, please don't run away from the complication.
Don't try to shove
Patient
it.
remain patient. So I got the message that patient remain patient whether the complication happened or not. So please do not run away from the scene and provide the best possible care. Yes, sir. Last word.
Yeah, it's very difficult to estimate what is the incidence of complications which are underreported. So one has to be honest himself that I have occurred. It may be seemingly innocuous harmful complication like trigger point injection. You may get swelling or you may get hematoma. It's a complication, but one has to be honest to write it down or to mention in his notes. And this way, if we report it, I think we'll come to the correct way.
In a light mood, I want to say one thing. You know why I am moderating this session? Madam, I am asking a very, very pertinent question. You know why I am moderating this question? No. I sent a video clip of 5 minutes of my complications of the last 5 years. So they were so impressed that he is the man who accepts that the complications are reality, so asked me to moderate this
So
session.
I know that you are doing pain work. Firstly, it proves that you are doing pain work
So-
in sufficient amounts. If you are doing
Thank you very much.
I would like to ask you, who is entitled to practice pain? What if something goes wrong and some medical legal issue?
Madam, this is a very contentious issue. It was very complicated.
15 days training at Darjeeling.
I understood your question.
At Delhi, 15 days training at Chandigarh.
Yeah, I'm telling
Give
you.
me protection.
Madam,
You
I-
know,
Basic
actually, we need to
protection.
evolve now because we
Yes,
need
madam.
to start a dedicated
Dr. Nalkar,
training as well
What is
as
this? I will say one statement about the current. I will say one line about the suggestion and what we can do. What you have question is, are we really qualified enough to practice the interventional pain? The answer.
legally.
I'm coming to the legal aspect. Legally, as legal documents did not mention
Yes.
what you can practice, they are unable to mention what you can't practice. This is a very unfortunate aspect. Your MCA guidelines never mention what you can practice, what you can't practice. But in coming time, there is definitely some lot of hullabaloo going on to make the certain guidelines. And definitely a time will come when the strict guidelines will be formed and it will be defined very crisp clearly that who will practice. I give you an example. There is no specific course which tells or that one person is qualified for the laparoscopic surgery. You know it. No, even if you are FRCS, you are not qualified.